Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm just going to give everyone a minute or two to get in here. Um, we've just kind of opened things up. So we are here with the lovely Latte and her partner, Nathan. And I'm just going to pause for a minute or two here and just let all these names pop up into my little participant screen here. And if you are just joining us and you can hear me, I encourage you to click on the Q&A, and just in the Q&A, just type your name and where you're tuning in from. And I know sometimes we have people with special connections to our dogs that we're featuring. So if you have a special connection to Latte, please let us know. And that will also make sure for me that our Q&A panel is working properly. So, and it is. So welcome, Elise from Vancouver. Thanks for joining us. And I see some other names coming in here. So I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds here, and then we'll get going with our interview. And anybody who is already on, if you have any questions for Nathan and Latte, please type them in the Q&A section, and we will dive right into those, because obviously we want to answer your questions, not just mine.
Good girl.
All right, well, let's get started. We've got some folks here, so those of you that just joined us, feel free to type your questions into the Q&A chat box. Welcome, Nicole and Walker from Vancouver is another one of our amazing teams. Diane from Vancouver, Lynn from Richmond. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. And I encourage you to type any questions you have for this amazing team in the Q&A section as well. So I'm going to get started by asking the same question I always ask, because it's always my favorite, finding out how is it you came to be a PADS client? So tell us a little bit about that journey and how it came to be that you were matched with Latte and came to PADS, Nathan.
I applied, I believe, I know it was seven or so years ago. I was matched with Latte in 2019. At the end of February, we finished our training, and I waited about 7 years. That is unusual. I understand that pads had to shut down for a few months, so that kind of delayed it. But yeah, we were matched in 2019. And we've been together ever since then. So
yeah, and you were one of our younger clients, Nathan. I think too that was part of your longer wait, right? Was part of it was most definitely when PADS went through our shutdown period, but then also being old enough to be eligible for one of our service dogs. So so we're always excited when young people get service dogs as they're kind of becoming independent. And tell us a little bit about that. What is it meant to, so Nicole asked, you know, how has Latte changed your life?
well, one of the biggest things that she does, other than her awesome skills that she does, is she will when I don't have carriers around or anything, she will make sure we always have her on leash so that she can open the door and let me out to get me out of the house in case there's an emergency or anything, which is very important for like my parents. It's kind of a safety valve.
Yeah.
So and she never, besides that, she loves smashing the door opener very enthusiastically. So she likes that.
So that leads really nicely into the second part of Nicole's question, which is, what is Latte's favorite skill?
Well, there's two. She loves retrieving water bottles because I drop them all the time, and Secondly, she loves smashing the door open. Sometimes not exactly at the most appropriate time, but she does it very enthusiastically. So
Yeah. Well, must be a little bit of enthusiasm there. So, in terms of, getting out of the house and going for a walk and all that good stuff. So, I know I've seen some beautiful photos of the two of you along the waterfront. Has having Latte helped you get out more and enjoy some of this beautiful sunshine?
yeah, that's because I sometimes get stuck in my head a little bit, and I sometimes get a little stuck in the house and not wanting to go out. And she helps with that because I have to take her out for walks and stuff. So that's one of the many un, unintended things of having a service dog, which is good. One of the good things that she does.
Yeah, well, you're in a perfect neighborhood for it. So,
Yeah.
I see a lot of new faces have just kind of tuned in while we've been chatting here. So, welcome everyone who has just joined in with us here. We're here with 75% of Latte. Her head has fallen off the table. And
Latte.
and her partner Nathan, and we're just talking about what a difference this beautiful girl has made for Nathan. So, from for those of you that have just tuned in, you'll see a little Q&A button on your screen. If you click that Q&A, you can enter a question and then we will ask those questions of Nathan. You're also more than welcome to just type in there and tell us where you're tuning in from. We always like to know where people are watching from. So, Veronica just posted, "Hi Nathan from Pads Puppy and Training, Freya too. So happy to finally meet you and Latte. We were at your graduation." So Freya is one of our young puppies in training, and Veronica is one of our amazing volunteers. Yeah, it's always an exciting thing to be able to meet our clients, even if it's virtually. For those that volunteer with Pads, it's really cool to see what that finished partnership looks like, or that final partnership looks like. So thank you for taking the time to kind of join in and show us a little bit of the behind the scenes. And then our friend Terry Reese is saying hello all the way from Texas. Terry,
Hello.
Terry is one of our puppies in flight volunteers that flies puppies to Pads from schools all over North America. One of our favorite people. So thanks for joining us, Terry. Those of you that have just joined, please feel free to type any questions that you have in the Q&A box. Kylia is tuning in. She says, "Great to see you both. Latte was such a fun girl to work with during her advanced training. Does she still like to lick or give kisses?"
Oh yes. And unfortunately, that's one of the things that we're trying to avoid at this current time as we're doing this. But that's one of the things she loves to do, which also helps keep me nice and calm because I have a lot of medical appointments and injections. So when I'm in the doctor, she will lie down super still while I have the uncomfortable injection, and sometimes they're very uncomfortable. So she'll come up on my foot plate and she'll lick my face and start wagging her tail, and that makes me feel a lot more comfortable that she's always there. So
That's amazing. What a good girl.
yeah,
So, and I also love that sometimes things that could be seen as a fault then wind up becoming such a positive for the client. So, for those of you that are watching, when we're puppy raising our puppies, we discourage them from licking because many people are allergic to it. Some people don't like it. And it's kind of like being on furniture. So all of our puppies are raised without going on furniture because we want to leave that choice up to the future client, whether or not they have a dog kind of on their couch or on their bed or whatever that looks like. And so licking is another one of those things that we really try to discourage. But Latte was a little famous I have a friend that would say she can't hold her liquor. Um, but
Yeah, yeah.
uh, she's very affectionate and loves to give kisses. So I'm
To,
glad that that's a plus for you.
to add to that too, it's hard for me to pet her.
Yeah,
So a lot of that licking affection that they try and discourage helps, because when I can't pet her physically, she will just do the licking, which is is good. It's a way of getting her affection. Um,
that's awesome. Well, and now we have a hello from Mary Amos and Zegan on Galliano Island. Our puppy raisers are all over right now. So, um, and Kylia wants to know, what was the hardest part about bringing a service dog into your life? We often talk about the great things they do, but what was hard about it?
I just a lot of apprehension once I got the dog, like how like there was a lot of adjustment. Plus, we also have a cat in the house, so Latte loves cats. So it was, first of all, you guys nailed the match. So thank you for your hard work with that. But no, it's a lot of planning around like the letting the dog out to go to the washroom, or have like I can't always walk her, so getting other people to walk her on occasion. Just like simple routine adjustments that we have to do during the day.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's very true of many of our clients, the anticipation and some of the anxiety around what will it be like and how much work will it be and will the match be good and all that kind of thing. I think that's very normal. So um, and now that that adjustment period, you guys are well into your partnership, um, has that anxiety kind of eased, or does this time in particular, I know COVID has put a lot of stress on people in terms of, their ability to go to medical appointments and get care and all that kind of thing. Has she helped with that, or have there been challenges?
yeah, well, we haven't really been going. We haven't been doing a lot of public access. I've been trying to avoid that just because I'm very vulnerable to COVID stuff. But she does, when there is medical appointment, she helps. She just lies down. She I she has helped me get out, because of COVID. I haven't been going like out in the public, but we luckily I live right across the street from an on leash park, so we just walk back and forth several times, and she likes it. So luckily it's very wheelchair accessible. So we
Yeah, it's a
just,
beautiful park.
pardon?
It's a beautiful park. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So, um, so another question that I like to ask our guests is, um, if you could say anything to the PADS donors and volunteers that made kind of Latte possible, what would you say to them?
I would say thank you very much, because these dogs are very valuable. Um, a lot of the I don't want to speak for you as well, but a lot of the puppy raising volunteers, my understanding is that they don't see the dogs after they graduate and the impact they have, but they do. They make quite a big impact. Um, so thank you very much, especially to her puppy raiser Kevin Powder, I think is
Yeah,
her puppy raiser. So she's she's a good girl. So
yeah, she is a really good girl. I remember um, Latte's trainer telling me once, she's a very honest dog. So there are dogs that will kind of take the opportunity, if they think they can get away with it, to be naughty. And even amazing service dogs will take those opportunities if they think they can. Whereas Latte is one of those little gems that just truly wants to be a good girl all the time.
yeah,
And and just has a really good heart. And I think that's part of the reason she's such a nice match with you, Nathan.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things is they talk about correction. I use correction a little bit, but with her, I don't really use it as, like, she's not a really naughty dog, to use the word that you were using. She's
Yeah.
very honest, um, and she's willing. She's very willing to do it. There's
Yeah.
been a couple times where I have dropped a water bottle and she's gone for something else, and I'm like, not that right now. We have to go for this, and she'll work at it, but she'll do it, and then she'll be very proud of herself afterwards. So
Yeah. She loves to work, doesn't she?
yeah.
Yeah. Um, so, um, so another question from Kylea. Is there anything you wish you knew about getting a service dog before you got Latte? Oh, that 2020 hindsight.
Um, uh, not really. Just that I I would say if there was a manual on like how to, like the main thing is the routines, like getting the dog into she like Latte loves routines. Like she knows that 7 o'clock in the morning she gets up, and then at 8 she gets. So those type of routines are very important for dogs. But just knowing, because I have a lot of anxiety too. So knowing actually what it is like having a dog is one of the biggest things that I would say. So yeah, and
Yeah.
a lot of the Pat's clients that our clients or work clients have, I was talking to a lot, one of them before, and she really helped. So
Yeah. It is nice for sure to be able to talk to past or existing clients before getting a dog. Because I think a lot of times we've talked about this on past calls that sometimes people see service dogs as an easy button, right? So to use that term, where you just press the button and the dog is going to do something. And they're extraordinary dogs, but they're living, breathing creatures, and they can be distracted or they can have challenges, etc. And so we always strive to make that training as rigorous as possible. But just like humans, just because we know how to do something doesn't mean that we always can do it the second the ask is made, because other things are going on in our world. So it's really neat to see, because I think too we've had a lot of clients say to us, oh, I didn't actually understand how much work it would be to keep up the training, etc. So we have another question here. Oh, sorry. Kylia just had a follow-up thought. She said, just so you know, I think you're awesome, Nathan. I'm so happy for you and Latte.
uh,
You a great team.
uh,
So, um,
we try
and,
anyway.
and Mary asks, how has she changed your interactions with the public? I mean, I know during COVID, things are different, but in general, have you noticed a change, Nathan, with how the public approaches you?
Yes, I will say a couple things if I can.
Please.
Um, yeah, yeah. Where I live in White Rock, there's a lot of elderly population. So, so a lot of the elderly will come up to me and they want to pet the dog right away, which I obviously with Pat's dogs, specifically service dogs, you try and discourage that. However, with elderly, that's not always possible, uh, because they don't understand or etc. But I will say, all the previous interactions that had in the mall, like say at a Walmart or whatever, if I plan on being half an hour, I now plan on being an hour, because you never know, you could get stopped in the mall or etc. Right? a lot of having a service dog is you have to you just interact with the public because a lot of it is awareness. Some people aren't aware. There's a lot of kids who come up and ask about the dog and what the dog does and so on. And yeah, that was me. That's been a bit of a change in terms of planning outings for longer than we were intending. But
Yeah. But make a bunch of new friends along the way.
yeah, I mean, yeah. In fact, I was going to mention too, if I can, I was in, it's the Twasson Mills Mall. I ran into a lady and she was asking about what Latte does and whatever. And then in September, it was last October, I saw her at the graduation and she's now a puppy raiser. So,
Oh,
so there's also that that side of it too, is like promoting the agency too. So
yeah.
um,
Well, we appreciate that. And I know for a lot of our puppy raisers that, they do what they do because they've seen the impact of the dogs. And I mean, some of them haven't, and they do it anyway, which is amazing. But that's a very cool story to hear. So thank you for sharing that.
you're welcome.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up here shortly. So if anybody has any last minute burning questions that you want to type into the Q&A box here, please feel free and we will try and answer them. But otherwise, thank you so much, Nathan and Latte, for joining us. And just want to remind everyone to go to pads.ca/tune-in Tuesdays and register. Next week. We have the amazing Del Rey and his world famous Wiggle and his partner Erica joining us next week. So he is an accredited facility dog in a very special one of a kind role. So we're excited to talk to them. And you can also anytime send me an email at communications with an S at pads.ca. If there's a client or guest that you would like us to invite onto our Tune In Tuesdays, and we will happily extend an invitation to them. I always give the disclaimer that not every client is comfortable being in the spotlight, so sometimes those invitations aren't accepted, but we're more than happy to put them out there. So Mary just came on and said, thanks so much, Nathan. You are great ambassadors for PADS. And Veronica says, thank you, Nathan and Latte. You're why we do what we do and why we are so happy to do it. So, and Lise is also saying, thanks for sharing Latte with us, Nathan. So,
You're welcome.
so thank you everyone for joining us. We've loved having you, and I'm very, very grateful to see you, Nathan and Latte, and I look forward to when we can see you in person again. Nathan is an amazing presenter as well for PADS, so he's come out before and done little demonstrations with Miss Latte when we've had work parties and stuff. So we miss having you around, and hopefully when all this craziness passes, we can see you in person. In the meantime, you two take care of yourselves, okay?
No problem. You too as well.
All right.
Take care of
Thanks
yourself.
so much, everyone. And we will see you next week, same time, same place. So just don't forget to go on and register, and then you'll get your invitation link to your email. Thanks again.
No problem.
Bye, Nathan. Bye, Latte.
Bye. Hold on one second.